The Chinese economy is experiencing a near complete collapse. Nearly 500,000 customers have lost their deposits as the banks lent indiscriminately to housing developers who are now facing cascading defaults. Here's the story the Chinese government doesn't want you to know.
NordVPN is becoming more than just a VPN. Threat protection will guard your device against malicious websites, malware, trackers, and intrusive ads, even if you're not connected to a VPN server at the time. Step up your cybersecurity and stay safe.
Meet NordPass. It creates strong passwords for you, keeps them safely locked in a single place, and automatically logs you into all of your favorite online accounts. And you can access it all on all of your devices, even when you're offline. That's NordPass.
Hi everybody, this is Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with crypto profits. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what's happening in China. Now, there are all sorts of factors that are at play that are weakening our financial and our economic and our political and our monetary system. You know, the rampant money printing, the disruption caused by the COVID lockdowns of the supply disruption to the supply chains, disruption to just-in-time payments and deliveries, but also disruption in terms of the businesses, small and medium businesses, the movement of money from the poor and the middle class upwards into the mega corporations and the mega rich, and of course the war in Ukraine and the suicidal sanctions. And then the other thing that's going on is how the Chinese economy is experiencing a near complete collapse. Now, this isn't just because of Evergrande, which I have mentioned a few times, but it's also because of the housing market in general. And this is what we're going to look at. Now, before we do so, please subscribe, comment, like, follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT. If you're watching this on YouTube, please come over and support me on Odyssey. I post more stuff on Odyssey than I do on YouTube, and this is because of YouTube censorship. And please join my official Telegram announcements channel. Okay, now, where is this story from? This story is from my Twitter feed. It came across, and it's a tweet from Graham Stephan. So let me say who Graham Stephan is. I wasn't following him before. I am now, and this is his Twitter account. So I do invite you to follow him at Graham Stephan. And he's actually a YouTuber, which I didn't know. And this is his YouTube account. Video recorded, getting fired, why 20% of workers could lose their jobs. It's over. China's entire economy is about to crash. The top 5 worst credit cards in 2022. So lots of financial news. So I recommend you go and check that out. And what does he say on his Twitter thread? Well, here's the story the Chinese government doesn't want you to know. So let's take a look. So this all begins with one thing: real estate. The Chinese are obsessed with real estate, and 70% of China's wealth is tied to real estate, which is twice as high as the US. And probably higher than it is in the UK, and definitely higher than it is in Germany. Reports are now emerging about real estate Ponzi schemes, mortgage boycotts, and an unfolding banking crisis. Chinese citizens prefer to invest in real estate as the Chinese stock market is notoriously opaque and unreliable, and there is counterparty risk with the stock market in a way that there isn't with property, because property is tangible and real. The Shanghai Composite, similar to the S&P 500, has not yet recovered from its 2008 peak, despite China's GDP growing by nearly 3 times since then. Oh, wow. So that's it in 2008, and look at this here. Kind of like hobbling along. For some context on how crazy the real estate market in China is, the median home price in New York is around 10 times the median annual income. But in Beijing, this can be as high as 25 times the median annual income. So let's have a look at this. So in Shenzhen, which is another city in China, the price per square meter is $7.768 thousand. Beijing, $6.8 thousand. Shanghai, $6.448 thousand. San Francisco, $4.88 thousand. So it's almost twice as expensive in Shenzhen. Well, not quite, maybe 1.5 times, right? Very rough mathematical calculation. And look at Detroit. $1,326 per square meter. So considerably more expensive in China. than in the US. The insatiable demand has led to Ponzi schemes where developers pre-sell homes which are not even built. They use the pre-sale money to start more projects, and then they collect more pre-sales from new projects. Buyers started a mortgage boycott as the properties have not been even completed. And where these unfinished property projects have sparked boycotts on paying loans, here in Henan, in Beijing, Hunan province 33, Hubei 27, Shanxi 23, and Hebei in 22. These aren't unfinished projects. These are projects where there's boycotts on paying the loans. The crisis has spread to banks as they had loaned out depositors' money to developers who were now defaulting on payments. As frozen deposits mounted and protests erupted all over China, investigations revealed critical systemic issues. For starters, during the COVID crisis, the government had lowered the 10% limit on asset that the banks had to keep in cash, and investigations revealed corrupt practices in the banks, some of which were taken over by criminal gangs who transferred the deposits outside the country. Wow, well, we already have banks run by criminal gangs, so I imagine this is a different class of criminal gang taking over the banks. With reports suggesting that over 400,000 customers have fallen victim to such activities, public trust in the banking system plummeted and the government stepped in to avoid bank runs and liquidity crunches. But their strategies seem at best questionable. So here we have a protest outside a bank, and you may have seen, I've certainly seen on telegrams where they've brought in tanks to stop the protests. The government has agreed to pay up to $15,000 for lost deposits, but only if the banks weren't involved in non-compliant transactions. The government's strategy for over-leveraged properties is to lend more money to finish them and pretend that everything is fine. Also, that will work, won't it? Just run up the credit card bill some more. Whether these strategies can revive investor confidence or is simply delaying the inevitable remains to be seen, but China is unlikely to meet its targeted 5.5% GDP growth rate, and right now youth unemployment is at nearly 20%. Okay, so we have a collapsing property market in China, we have high rates of youth unemployment, we have loans being defaulted on masse, I don't know how many millions of dollars. Not a good recipe for stability. As the semiconductor shortages showed us, events across the world can have serious consequences back home. Chinese companies have substantial investments in US equities and might sell them during a crisis. This can tilt the investor sentiment to fear and trigger a sell-off. Short-term investors should keep an eye out for news from China. The events and its impacts are covered in more detail in my newsletter, so don't forget to subscribe there. So I shall have a link to his newsletter and also his Twitter and his YouTube channel. It's only fair he's done all this work, so do go and follow him on all those different outlets. A lot of research went into this, as I usually don't cover events outside the US. If you found it insightful, please share it by retweeting the first tweet, which I shall do if I haven't done already. Here we go. Tweet and light. And this is not good. This is not good at all. There is all sorts of fragilities in the global economic monetary system. Another one I just thought of is what's happening in Germany with the death of the German manufacturing sector due to the suicidal sanctions, where Germany has sanctioned itself from using cheap Russian gas to fuel its own factories. So we're in for a rough winter. What I recommend you subscribe to Graham Stefan's channel and his Twitter account and his Substack. Links in the description below. Please also do subscribe to my channel on Odyssey, my Twitter, CryptoRichYT, and also my official Telegram announcements channel, and gold, silver, Bitcoin, pemmican. None of this is investment advice. This is Crypto Rich signing out. All the best. Bye-bye. I want people to know about this website, phmpt.org. phmpt.org. It started in end of January. It's public health medical transparency. It's a charity. They sued the FDA and Pfizer to get the Pfizer trial data. And the FDA said, yes, we'll release it after 7 to 5 years. And the judge said, no, you start releasing it now. And it's getting no publicity on the mainstream media. So please go check that out. Let people know about this website so they can discover what is in those injections, because It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. And people need to know, don't take, if you've had it, don't have any more. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.